What if you could assess all incoming students' understanding of theory concepts without manually grading a single exam? And what if every student starting a music degree had an opportunity to learn, practice, and review fundamental music theory before ever setting foot in a collegiate theory class? With uTheory, this and so much more is possible. uTheory lets you create online music theory placement tests that provide immediate feedback and practice tailored to the needs of each student. You can also configure settings such as content, passing requirements, test repetitions, and customize instructions. uTheory works on smartphones, tablets, and computers through any web browser. No software download required. Before we dive into how to create a test for placement purposes, let's take a look at what the students will see on their end. Once a test is complete, students will see whether they passed the exam and on which sections they need practice. The criteria for passing, number of retakes allowed, and the score that will be submitted are all customizable under the test settings. Students get immediate feedback on their performance and direct access to lessons and practice to improve their skills before retaking the test. Here are examples of the review and practice process, or what we like to call pre-mediation. Once the student shows improvement based on their skills practice score, they will be able to retake the test. You'll never worry about a student memorizing the test, as advanced question generation features provide a new test each time a student takes it with minimal repetition. When you first log into uTheory, you'll see your dashboard. To create a test, we need to go to the Teach tab at the top of the page. If you have created classes, you will see these on this page. At the top again, select Tests. From here, you can edit an existing test or create a new one by clicking the green plus sign. Once selected, you'll be prompted to enter a test name. Click the blue check when finished to begin editing your test. These are the test settings. The test content is completely configurable. To edit the types of questions, go to Sections and Questions. You'll see a list that shows the sections and types of questions. To remove an entire section from the test, uncheck the section checkmark. To remove just a certain group of questions, uncheck the smaller box next to the group. You can change the number of questions in each section and edit the amount of time allowed per section. Additionally, you have the option to modify time requirements for individual students as accommodations require for accessibility. You can choose to have the test be visible to students as a tab in their menu by checking Show Test in Menu As and assigning a name. If you would like students to be taken directly to the test instead of their uTheory dashboard, when they log in, you can select to Use Test as Homepage. The passing requirements can also be modified. You can set a minimum % average for the complete test, require students to pass each section with a minimum percentage, or both. You decide whether the most recent or highest scoring test attempt will be counted. You can control how many times a student can take a test. Placement tests rewrite themselves each time they are taken, so you can feel confident that a student will be presented with different questions and won't wind up memorizing the test. To allow students to have an infinite number of test repetitions, enter -1 in the box. If you require students to take placement tests in a proctored environment, such as in a testing center, then you can require a password. Students will not be able to take the test unless they or a test center staff person enters the correct password for the test. You can use the existing test instructions or edit if necessary. As well as writing and making basic style changes, you can use variable placeholders to merge information into the instructions. These placeholders will automatically convert to the appropriate text, such as the amount of time or number of questions in the student's view. To see what the students will see, select Preview. Notice that the variables have added the total time, number of questions, attempts allowed, and scoring requirements from the test settings. If requested, we can enable multi-teacher features that will allow more than one instructor to have access to the test. To give other instructors access to the test, go to Choose Teachers. Teachers can view results and edit test settings, and teachers' assistants can view results only. To see an example of your test from the student's perspective, you can try out the test by clicking the Preview link. Once you've set it up and tried out your placement test, it's time to let students start taking it. You'll need a group license or testing-only license to share your test with students. If you don't have one, a link to purchase one will be shown here. There are 2 ways to share a test with students. If you are administering a test to students who are not part of a uTheory class, for instance, giving a placement test, the best way to give students access to a test is with the test invite link. To copy the invite link, click here. The link can now be pasted into an email, as an announcement in your learning management system, or via your preferred written communication with your students. When students follow the link, they will be prompted to create an account or log in, and if set up to do so, will be taken directly to the test. If you are sharing a test with students who are part of a uTheory class you teach, the easiest way to give them access is by connecting the test to the uTheory class. To do this, go to your class settings, connect tests, and select the test from the list. You can connect a test to as many classes as you would like. The test will now appear as a tab on the student's dashboard. As soon as students complete a placement test, you'll be able to view their results. For detailed individual results, select a student's name from the left column. Now you can view a student's scores by section, or expand to see how each question was answered. Here, I can see that this student had difficulty with minor scales. To download the test results as a spreadsheet, click the green Save button. Teachers and students alike find uTheory engaging, adaptive, motivating, and accurate. Beyond placement testing, uTheory offers hundreds of video lessons and individualized practice exercises with a huge variety of activities to support all learning modalities. uTheory connects concepts to sound and intrinsically motivates for progress towards mastery. uTheory has helped thousands of students around the world learn the fundamentals of music theory, rhythm, and ear training. And everything uTheory offers is driven by our mission to make music theory learning easy.